right, welcome back to another video. Yes sir, as you can tell, this is gonna be my 3-year 31,000 mile review of my 2021 MT09. How has it held up since 3 years ago? Holy moly, can you guys believe it's been 3 years since I got this bike? It's crazy. It is crazy, but I love it, every moment of it. But I'm just gonna go through some of the things that that I have learned on this bike, that I see on this bike, that I've experienced obviously on this bike. There's tons of things, but I'll go through the kind of the basic stuff first, and then I'll kind of get into my riding of the bike. How does it make me feel? Is it still like it when I first got it brand new? Stuff of that nature. First and foremost is the aesthetics. The looks of this bike back in 2021 was quite controversial, and it might still be controversial for some today. But to me, the more I ride it, the more I look at it, the better it becomes. Now I get it, it's not for everybody, but for me, oh man, like, I love the lines of this bike. I love the way it looks. Yes, even the Cyclops look, yes, I love the way that it looks. It's very, very unique. You can ride around, and if I roll around on this, you immediately know, because it is the Cyclops eye, you immediately know that it's an MT09. And so that to me is very, very unique, and it's awesome. I love it. Hey Cardo, drop some stuff on real quick.
Music on.
Alright, as you guys know, this thing is powered by Yamaha's almighty CP3. Yes sir. This thing has been quite a blast to haul around in the mountains, and even just little stuff around town like this. Even this stuff right here, this engine is happy in these areas. And I just can't tell you enough. I mean, you guys know how the CP3 works. It's been in Yamaha's line for a very, very long time. Not a very long time, but at least for the FZ to the MT series, it's been their motor that they go to for the their 3-cylinder. It's a solid motor. I don't think anybody can really attest, or that this motor is not good. I mean, this motor is good. Then they're probably gonna put it in the upcoming R9. That, you know, I don't know when they're gonna release it, but I know that they're building race R9s, and they're using this particular CP3 platform. So again, it's a very reliable bike, a very reliable engine. Yamaha has been on point with this particular engine, so I have no qualms with this engine. Now, as you guys know, I've flashed this this bike, so there is that dead spot from stock in second gear, and so there's that. But it's not anything, it's not a knock on the motor. It's because of the Euro 5 tuning that they had to do it that way. But that's easily remedied by a quick flash of the ECU, and you are off to the races. And when I mean off to the races, you're off to the races, bro. Like, it's crazy. It's as crazy as you want it to be, and it's as tamed as you want it to be. So third gear roll, just from here, just woo! Yeah. So again, this motor will definitely give you all the fun that you want from a motorcycle. I mean, it's just I mean, come on man. Anybody has gotten close to this CP3 knows and understands that this motor does the job. I love this motor, no qualms about this motor. Get your, if you haven't done it, if it's still stock, just get it flash, you'll be fine. All right, let's talk about the suspension on this thing. Oh my god. I mean, come on. For the price point and when I got this bike for, again, $1,600 more over the base model, you had to say yes. Why? One, cruise control, okay? That's a given. Not a lot of people like it, whatever. Once you've tried it, you liked it, it's good, you'll never go back. That's what I have to say about cruise control. But the suspension on this bike over the base, I'm just telling you, if you, I don't know the going prices. I know that the price has gone up with the new 24s. I don't know what the new SP, the 2024 Gen 4 SP price point is going to be. I haven't looked at it. I haven't seen any reportings on it. If by the time this video drops, if there's been reportings of how much the SP is going to cost, I'll post it up. But as of now, I don't know. So if the SP is not any more than, I would say, $1,600 or so difference from the base of the Gen 4, if you're on the fence, I'm just going to go ahead and tell you, just go for the SP. That's all you need. You won't go back. You're not going to be dissatisfied. You're not going to be like, oh, that wasn't worth the money. It is absolutely worth the money that you, the extra little bit of money for the suspension that comes on this particular bike stock. It took me almost 2.5 years just to tune the suspension. Why did it take me 2.5 years? Because I rode it stock and it was just fine. I was getting used to the bike, and plus my skill set wasn't good enough yet. It really just wasn't. It wasn't good enough to even push the stock suspension the way they had it set up. And as I've gotten better and as I've gotten more used to the bike and the characteristic of this particular bike, I'm able to push it more. I'm just able to push it a little bit harder, and my skills have gotten just a little bit better where I can push a little bit harder. And now I'm noticing, oh, okay, I actually got to tune the suspension. So again, in my previous videos, again, I told that John helped me out with the suspension. Also holler to John, appreciate you, sir. But I got it tuned, and I have to tell you, like, people say that, oh man, get it tuned, it's a night and day difference. To me, before, when people said that, it was always kind of just like, oh, you're just kind of hyping it up, right? Like, it's like, okay, you're trying to hype up the bike, I get it. But yeah, it's actually kind of true. Again, I got it tuned for my body weight, my chubby body weight right now. So it's fine, it works good. I don't have no qualms with it. But if anybody has ridden this Gen 3 or newer bike, this bike really does live, like, it does really excel. The suspension really does excel in the mountains. I mean, this thing, when you dip it, it's going in. And when you rip the throttle, again, with the suspension tuned, it sits on your line. It's so nice. And that's the difference that I can tell from this from the stock suspension to now where it's tuned to fit me. And I'm telling you, it really is a night and day difference. This bike is really a lot better. It's a lot more stable. It's a lot more confidence inspiring, especially when you're going more spirited in the mountains, around city stuff like this, kind of back road cruising like this, whatever. You know, stock suspension is going to be just fine. The stock settings are just going to be, it's going to be just fine. But if you're in the mountains, you're going to have to tune this suspension because you're not getting the entire bike. And again, for the amount of money that when I bought it, it was only, again, a $1,600 difference. It is totally worth that particular amount of money in difference between the base and the SP models. So if you're on the fence and if it's within your budget, right, it doesn't have to be $1,600. $1,600 was good for me. But if you say, I don't care if it's a $2,000 or $3,000 difference, now that's kind of pushing it. But if you're saying, no, I don't care what the difference is, I want the SP, then get the SP. You're not gonna ever look back. That's my opinion, that's my feeling on this particular bike. Now I'm going on to the actual dash itself. This dash, as simple as it is, it works well. It's not the best dash in the world. It's obviously not the biggest. It's only 3 inches, and it's got minimal display. So the only 2 areas you kind of can display information or change it is this area up here where you see the current odometer and the fuel. Those are the only 2 spots where you can kind of switch the menu around and say, I want to see different items, right? The one gripe I will continue to have is the gas gauge on this. Okay, let me just put it in cruise. I can show you guys, right? See that gas gauge? It's been complained about for years. I don't know if they fixed it in the Gen 4. Through all of my years of riding this particular bike, once that particular bar actually disappears, you've got to max out about like 45 minutes. And that's you going easy on the throttle, okay? So if you're hard on the throttle, you've got less than 45 minutes until it like starts to flash at you. The display is fine. You can see things. I can see things that fine at night. It lights up really well, especially even in direct sunlight like this. It lights up. You can see it well. You can see the display. I got no problems with it. I got no qualms. I'm used to it now. It looks great. I still like it, but you know, I just wish it was just a touch better, given the current market and some of the technology and screens that we're seeing now on more modern bikes like this one. Yamaha could do a little bit better in regards to upping their game on the TFT display, but it is what it is. I know that it's cost effective stuff as well, trying to keep costs down, trying to keep the bike affordable to people like myself, because I can't afford Ducatis. So I have to get a Yamaha. Nothing wrong with that, I just can't afford a Ducati. But again, display is fine. I love it. And now obviously to my last point on this bike, my final point on this bike, for the pros. You got some cons in there, but the pros. This bike, in regards to its fun, oh man, it's a fun bike. It's just a really fun bike. Again, even if you're riding around town like what I'm doing right now, it's, to me, I'm old enough now to where I can appreciate just kind of riding around like this. I know that some of you younger cats are like, dude, that's boring as heck. I get it, okay. But to me, just cruising around like this and having a bike that can do exactly what I want it to do, and in regards to, all right, I need you to be a little bit more tame. I don't need you to just try to buck me all the time, and I don't need you to try to want to go like 100 miles an hour everywhere. This bike does it. And so the rideability on this bike, from this to mountain stuff, to me, for its class, is unmatched. I love this bike. I've said it before in my previous reviews too. It does everything I want it to do in my application of this bike perfectly. There's nothing that is like faulty on it. There's nothing that is like, oh man. When I'm riding this thing, I never think about the bike of, I probably should have got a different bike. I've never thought about that. There's just so much that you can say about this bike that's good to me. And I don't, like I said, I do sing its praises more than anything else. I'm just being honest with you. As an owner for 3 years, I just don't have much qualms with this bike. I really don't. I just know that this bike performs, and I know that it does what it needs to do when I want it to. Now, it's obviously not a perfect bike, right? Like, to me, there's no such thing as a perfect bike. But obviously, if the bike excels at what you want it to do, then yeah, it's the perfect bike for you, right? Like, that's what you want it to do. try to get past this before I get ran over. Right? I mean, just, it's just so much fun, and you can just rip it like this. I mean, yeah, just like that. And then now you're chilling again. You're just chilling. It's just so much fun. Now, the question is, my 3 years, 30-some thousand miles of ownership on this bike, like, dude, do you really still like it? Like, are you thinking about trading it in? Do you think about like other bikes, like other applications for it? And I'm like, you know what? No, I have not. I have not once thought about trading this bike in. I have not once thought about, oh man, I'm bored of this bike now, I need something else. I've never once thought about that, and I'm being very honest. I'm not just saying it for this particular video. Like, I've never thought about, oh yeah, I need a different bike. I'm bored of this bike now. I've done everything I could on this bike. It's given me the experience that I want. Now it's time to move on. Now I need to quote unquote graduate, right? Or I need to get to an upgraded bike. No, I think this bike is well suited for me, and I still got a lot of growing to do as a rider, and so it's well suited for that as well. And so I'm very, very pleased with this bike. Even after 3 years, I am still just as kind of giddy and excited to get on this bike. Like, every time I get on this bike, every time I open the garage and I'm like, hello, and I'm like, yeah, let's go ride. Yeah, man, I love this bike. 3 years in, 31,000 miles. Lord, hey, so far so good. No complaints. Love it, man. So Yamaha, you've done a good job. There's obviously, again, there's some small minor stuff that you could probably get better, but in the overall package, for the price that I got this bike at, oh my gosh, yeah, what a steal, man. What a steal. I love it. But yeah, so I appreciate you guys coming along with me. That's just my review of the bike, my 3 year, 30-some thousand mile review of this bike, of my ownership of this particular bike. And again, if you're looking for anything of this, I completely and totally, utterly recommend this bike for you. Unless you're a brand new rider to the scene, then this bike is too much for you, as I've said in previous videos. But again, thank you guys for coming along. Thank you guys for watching. Thank you guys for the support. If you have not yet, go ahead and click the subscribe button. It's free. Go ahead and like, go ahead and share, and man, I'll catch you guys up here on the next one. Peace out.